with another episode of the Life Renovation Podcast, and we're on video again, just in case you didn't notice.
Here we are.
So this is episode number 2 on video.
Yeah.
And we're excited to be with you. So if you don't remember or didn't see our first one on video, I'm Glendie Loringer, and
I'm Emily Olson.
Yeah, and together we just get to hold really amazing conversations about some really hard and awkward stuff sometimes.
Yeah, faith, family, and sexuality.
Yeah. Those are really easy topics, right?
Yeah.
So, where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, so you have just had a really big weekend.
I had a really big weekend.
Yeah, you were in San Francisco. You want to tell us what you were doing there?
Yeah, San Francisco for the Walk for Life. So it's January 2026 right now, and there is a whole organization down there that puts on a walk and really to honor and affirm life from conception. Mm-hmm. And they invited me down to share my testimony, and it was phenomenal. I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe 5,000 people, 8,000 people. 60,000 people showed up for this thing. That was one of the counts I heard.
Wow.
And so it was amazing to be walking with that many people who, many of them know and love Jesus, mm-hmm. but so many of them are absolutely convinced that abortion harms women and that life begins at conception and should be valued and honored. And so just never been part of anything like that.
Yeah. So this walk is to raise awareness.
Yeah, it was simply, it wasn't a fundraiser or anything like that. It was to raise awareness. And so there were families there, people with strollers and pushing babies, and there were protesters there who don't believe what we do about life. Yeah. But yeah, overall, it was just amazing to be part of something that big and to see that many people come together. Some of them had driven hours, and they came together just to affirm life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see that happen up in the Pacific Northwest that often. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's I know, like when we go to our conference every year, it's always just super encouraging and inspiring to be surrounded by other people that believe similarly about life and the value of life. And so I bet that was just really incredible.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The Heartbeat Conference is amazing. Heartbeat is one of our national affiliates, but that's 1,600 people, I think, last time we went, and this was 60,000. Yeah. It was just, I looked out and there was just a sea of people. It was crazy amazing.
Yeah. You looked out. So what was your part in the Walk for Life?
Well, I was asked to share my testimony of having had multiple abortions and what God did with that. And so that was just a privilege too. I mean, anytime I get to share the name of Jesus, but to share it from a stage in front of that many people was, daunting and amazing. Yeah. I think the only thing that I was frustrated with about my talk is that I had a verse to share. And when I got to that verse, I totally bobbled it. Really? That's the one place I really wanted to get.
What do you mean bobbled? Did you like stutter?
I did. I was like, I lost my place. And
Oh, they can all see that you're human like the rest of us.
I'm human. I bobble the word of God.
Glendie, you have shared your story before on our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you be willing to share again now that we're on video?
Yeah. I think it's always a privilege to share what God's done with something that was pretty dark. So I'll just kind of start from the beginning, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
So I was raised by my parents who were married 50 years before my mom passed. And they were amazing. Most of my memories about my parents, my dad's still around, but they really worked hard to kind of make it a beautiful life for my sister and I, even though we didn't have a lot. And I think the day that really changed everything was when my aunt's family moved in. Mm-hmm. And I was 5 that I remember. And it was amazing because I had all my cousins to play with. Yeah. But one of the hardest parts was that my aunt's second husband, so my uncle, got a hold of me when I was 5 and started sexually abusing me really early on. And it continued well into my teen years. So it created in me this cycle that I don't know what it looked like on the outside, but from my perspective, it was just a cycle of pain and fear and a lot of shame.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to describe what I remember is that I was a chameleon. Like I could be who you wanted me to be and who I thought you expected me to be. And when I was around family, I was the good little girl. And when I was with guys, because there were a lot of guys, I was a dirty girl. And I think I entered into my teen years with like a DG written on my forehead.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. That played out pretty rough in my teen years. A lot of promiscuity. And I wish I could tell you why I acted that out in high school. And, it was just guy after guy. But there's a part of you that just believes what's been sown into you is so awful. And so you must be awful.
Yeah.
So,
and that was the area that you were wounded in.
Right.
So young.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So teen years were pretty rough. Not a lot of friends. I remember 8th grade. I don't know why 8th grade, but it was just so prominent that I just wanted to be popular. I wanted people to like me. I did not have a lot of friends. And looking back, I would say well into my adult years, I didn't know how to be a friend. I had so much inner self-hatred that I don't know how people were around me.
Yeah.
Right? When you're around somebody who doesn't like themselves, it's hard to be with them and hard to like them.
Yeah.
And so that was my teen years, was just really wanting somebody to love and accept me. And have you been around people that are so hyper needy like that, emotionally needy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so did you ever tell anybody about what had happened?
No.
Like, did you? So you were just hiding this?
I was hiding this. I didn't until well into my teen years, or in my adult years. I was in my early 30s, and I connected with one of my cousins.
Okay.
And just laid out a bunch of the memories and said, what the heck was this?
Yeah.
And he said, me too.
Oh.
And just confirmed everything.
Yeah.
I thought I'd made it up. I thought it was in my head. I had recurring dreams, and yeah. And so that was, I don't think people who've experienced sexual abuse always get it confirmed kind of in this lifetime. And my cousin was a huge blessing for me in that. And huge support as I sought healing. But
yeah. I'm so sorry that all that happened to you.
Yeah. Thank you. It's not easy, but it's amazing that it has a beautiful story, because I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
A beautiful ending.
Only God does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in your teen years, then what was next for you?
Well, by the time I headed for college, the type of abuse that I was suffering was a form of trafficking. And so I was being trafficked for sex, and I had 3 abortions by the time I headed off for college.
Okay.
And so when I got to college, I was an emotional mess, a basket case, hyper emotional, extremely angry at everybody, and very promiscuous. And most of my first couple of years of college were like that, just hopping from guy to guy. The abortion that I chose at the age of 17 happened 4 days before I left for college.
Wow.
And so I hit the ground running at college, and the partying and the promiscuity just continued.
Okay.
And until I met a guy, a really good guy. And his name's John. You know him.
I know him. Yeah. He is a good guy.
Yeah. I ended up marrying him. But when I first met John, I think the thing that drew me to him was just that he had a security about him that I now know is Christ. But at the time, I was drawn to it.
Yeah.
I was like,
something steady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want what you've got. And then we became really good friends. And so I felt like I could start asking him. I felt like he was a safe enough guy to ask. Like, so this whole God thing that you got going on.
Yeah.
Like, and I was so sarcastic and just jaded about it. And he was even. And I think you've heard me say this, that I used to ask John about praying. And I would say, so what, you pray?
Yeah.
Like you talk to God? Does he answer you? Are you hearing voices?
Yeah.
He'd be like, yes, I talk to God. That's called prayer. And yes, I do hear him speak to me.
Yeah.
And I just like, It would shut me up. I
Yeah.
didn't even know how to respond.
So what was your experience with God up until this point,
I was
if
drawn
any?
to church,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know how to approach God.
Okay.
I had a prayer that I'd learned. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the
Mhm.
Lord my soul to keep. I learned that somewhere in Sunday school. My parents were Creasters, Christmas Eve, Easter Sunday
Yeah.
churchgoers. So I had a little bit of background, but no understanding of
Okay.
Christ and forgiveness and grace. It was all about going to church.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it was so foreign to me. So to meet somebody like John who was confident in his faith
Mm-hmm.
was phenomenal.
So when he responded that way, like, yeah, I do talk to God. It's prayer. Like, what did you do after that? Did you want to know more? Did you stop making fun of him?
No. In fact, I think I was actually worse. But I was usually dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I know it would shut me up. And then I'd think of some other question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it usually had to do with some tradition that was going on in church. He would bring me to church. John grew up a Catholic, but his mom was a charismatic Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Huge impact on me.
Okay. So you married John.
Married John.
Yeah.
After college.
Okay.
And we had a couple kiddos. And it was when our second one arrived that the abortion, especially the abortion that I chose, that's where everything kind of came to a turning point. So we had Reed, and he's our biological son, and both of them are now adults. And then we adopted Adam. That was John's certainty that we were supposed to adopt.
Okay.
And when Adam came to live with us, for some reason, and I couldn't have told you then, I know now.
Yeah.
But the anger and all of the behavior just tipped over the top. I had been able to mask it, and John had led me to accept the Lord. And but I became so angry that I was a danger to the boys.
Okay.
And that was really scary. And I didn't know why. What I know now is that a lot of women who've experienced abortion have a hard time bonding with later kiddos. And so, especially with Adam, I had a heck of a time bonding with him.
Yeah.
But the anger piece confused me because I couldn't understand why the anger was coming out towards him.
What have you figured out about that?
Well, there was a moment where I crossed a line with Adam. And I was so scared by what I had done that I called John home from work, and he realized what I'd done and how far over the top I was. And he literally sat me down and said, I'm not going to lose these kids because of you. It's time to get your anger under control. Yeah. And I just knew I had a choice to either seek help or lose them. And I didn't know now. I know now. I didn't know then that John had plans to leave. Yeah. If I didn't get help. And so I started meeting with our pastor's wife. And so to answer your question, she prayed. And she offered the simplest prayer. She just said, Lord, would you show Glendie what the root of her anger is? And immediately I knew it was the abortion that I had chosen at 17. Yeah. And that I had made that easy choice. It wasn't easy. Let me be really clear. Abortion's not an easy choice to make, but it was a very self-serving choice, almost like self-preserving choice. And I'd made that choice at 17. And now here I was with this new baby, and his mama had made the opposite choice to give him life. And then she placed him in my arms as his adoptive mama. And so the unworthiness was like this crazy, heavy, wet blanket over me.
And then that came out as anger.
It came out as anger.
There's so many emotions that come out as anger. Yeah.
Well, and the shame, I can say it now, that I became a danger to the kids. But as a mom, the first few times I said that, there was so much shame wrapped up in that. Like, who's a danger to her kids? And then when I really think about it, I mean, I've had people say to me who don't know that I have abortion in my past, I can't imagine a woman who would kill her baby through abortion. And I think, welp.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. So you called your pastor's wife and started meeting with her. She prayed with you. God was so good to show you the root of this.
Right.
So did you continue to meet with her and just talk about this and just open this up?
I did.
Yeah.
I kind of dove in. There was something about calling John home. He's a medical provider, so it was a really big deal to call him home midday. And getting the ultimatum from him that just all of a sudden I realized I got to take it seriously. So I dove in. I started attending a Bible study and started reading other books. Probably the book that got me the most was a book I think we've talked about here, Intimate Issues, 21 Questions Christian Women Ask About Sex.
Yeah.
And there are all sorts of stories in there, but there was also a chapter on abortion. And in it, this woman talked about going back to the day of the abortion with a friend and just walking through what that day was like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read that, and she kept talking about a baby in her story.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was in the bathtub reading that book, and I kept going, a baby, but it was just an abortion. It was just 2.2 ounces of tissue. That's what the nurses told me. There was no baby. So I'm telling Diana that a few days later, just about reading that chapter. And I think that she's going to commiserate with me and say, oh, that's weird. And instead she goes, well, Glendie, what was your abortion day like? And I know it's really wrong to want to hit your pastor's wife.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah. I just remember wanting to slap her. And
Yeah.
how dare you
Yeah.
ask me that? And I told her, I said, that was the worst day of my life. I'm not going back there. And even as I said that, I started flashing back and remembering all the stuff that I'd locked away. It's crazy how our minds can lock stuff away.
Yeah.
And I started just telling her everything I saw, the furniture in the waiting room and what the doctor looked like, because it was a surgical abortion, and the sights and smells, and it was awful. And she listened. Like, what an incredible friend to listen to that. And then I came to the end. And this is a part that always gets me because I started crying that I had killed my baby. And I told Diana, I said, but it wasn't a baby. It was just 2.2 ounces of tissue. And I didn't know then. I know now that most women who choose abortion have a lie that they've hung their hat on, and that was mine.
Yeah.
No, baby, just tissue. And here's the crazy part is that in that moment, the Lord revealed the truth to me.
Yeah.
And I'd never had a vision to that point, and still a brand new Christian. And I literally had a vision of a white wall lifting, and behind it, I saw Jesus, and I heard him speak to me.
Yeah.
And he said, it wasn't just tissue, Glendie. He was a baby. He's your son, and you'll be with him in heaven someday.
Wow. It's incredible.
I can't tell that without getting choked up because it just is such grace.
I was just going to say it's grace because here's God showing you a really hard truth, right? Like, it's not tissue.
Yeah.
This is your baby. And it's just blended with love. He's holding your baby and telling you that you're going to be reunited.
Right.
So here's this really hard truth, and then there's all this grace poured in at the same time.
All
it's
at the
not
same
condemnation. Time. It's not. It's just love.
There was
and
no
truth.
finger pointing.
No. Oh,
No.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was such an incredible moment with Diana.
Yeah.
And to be able to share it with somebody who knows and loves Jesus and could guide me through it was so impactful.
Yeah.
I got done sobbing and sharing all of it with her, and she said, well, what are you going to name him? And I'd never even considered that it was a baby, let alone that I could name him. And so being a brand new Christian, the first book of the Bible that I really felt like the Lord had spoken to me out of was Timothy. So it just came to mind. I went, oh, it's Timothy. And then she said, here's the really important factor. She said, Glendie, you have to forgive yourself in order to really, truly receive the forgiveness that Jesus offers you. You have to forgive yourself. Because if you don't, you're rejecting what he's offering you. I think that's the biggest kicker.
Yeah.
Like, to ask Jesus for forgiveness is one thing. But then when you forgive yourself, it's almost an act of receiving and saying, if you're forgiving me, then I can forgive me as well.
Yeah. That's really, I think that forgiving yourself is really instrumental in our healing because we can, I don't know, it seems like, man, it's a bummer that we can't just love Jesus and then all of our wounds are gone. right? Like,
Right.
like it's like, oh, I thought, I became a Christian. Everything's great now. But like, there's still hurts and there's still steps to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, I would say from there forward, there was a lot of forgiving to do. There was a lot of receiving forgiveness, but then there was a lot of forgiving that I needed to do.
Mm-hmm. What did naming your baby, like, what part did that play in your healing, and like how you experienced grief or forgiveness or any of that? What?
I know you and I have done a work here with what we do at Life Services, with the Grief Institute, where it talks about disenfranchised grief.
Yeah.
I think just thinking about the abortion as the abortion, 2.2 ounces of tissue, it's disenfranchising what was actually there, my baby.
Yeah.
And so naming him actually enfranchised the grief.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, made him real. And it confirmed what I was seeing. Like, who gets to say that they saw Jesus and then also saw Jesus holding their son?
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes out of my mouth, and I know it's my story, but it astounds me that that's the story that God wrote on my life.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm curious. A little bit of a hard question, and I'm just curious.
What? You're going to ask me a hard question?
Well, So I've never heard you mention your other abortions publicly.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned them at Walk for Life even.
I did.
In front of 60,000.
I did.
Can you speak to that? What was going on and where you're at now?
I think, it's crazy to be in my 50s and able to share that. One of the things that most people don't know is that abortion is a perfect hiding place for abusers and traffickers. And that has to be known and shared. And that was my case.
Okay. What do you mean by that? How did they?
In other words, if a woman gets pregnant, everybody knows.
Okay.
But if you force her to have an abortion, the abuse can continue.
Okay.
And nobody has to know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was my case. And in healing, one of the things, like I said, I've walked through so much forgiveness, having to forgive the people who hurt me. If I really am going to forgive them, then I'm going to publicly declare and walk in the freedom that I have from what was perpetrated on me.
Yeah.
So I was forced to have 2 abortions. I experienced a form of trafficking. I can honestly say that I walk free and forgiven.
Yeah.
And I walk in forgiveness. And I am refusing to walk in fear anymore. And so this past year, I've been testing that out. Like, can I actually share this and still be okay?
Yeah.
And the Walk for Life in front of 60,000 people was a real example for me of going, I will not fear this any longer. I want people to know the truth. And I want to walk in the freedom that I know I've experienced.
Yeah.
And I want to honor Jesus in it. It's not, when you go through really, really hard things and people go, wow, you're amazing. It's not me amazing. I wouldn't be walking free of fear if it hadn't been the Lord freeing me of the fear.
Yeah. And we talk a lot. I've heard you pray against fear. We've prayed against fear over the past 2 years. That's been something that I've seen a distance between fear and you just grow, just that gap grow wider. It's been amazing to watch. And I know it's God, and you know it's God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other piece of it is fear is a spirit, right? I mean, we know the 1 Timothy 1:7, I think that's what it is, where it says God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, sound mind.
And power.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm experiencing. Like the power to give this kind of a testimony at Walk for Life, that wasn't of me. That was the Lord, and it was me not walking in that spirit of fear.
Right.
Refusing, renouncing, rejecting that spirit of fear and saying, no more.
Yeah.
I think, you and I have seen a lot of clients who've been buried by fear because of an unplanned pregnancy or abuse or just really hard circumstances.
Yeah, they feel like life is out of their control and just,
right?
no control.
Yeah. And so if I can have the courage to share with somebody and help them take one step forward,
Yeah.
it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thanks for being willing to share more of your story.
Yeah. I think, when one of the phrases that I felt like God gave me was that he turned the tragedy of my children's abortions, deaths through abortion, into a testimony of his goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you don't sit on, right? When God does a work like that. So I can just declare from this podcast that I have 3 children in heaven, and their names are Sarah, Timothy, and George.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. After sharing with all those people and sharing right now with our listeners, what is the message that you want people to leave with?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean that to sound trite.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal. I would not be free. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. I wouldn't be leading this organization. I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be married. I wouldn't have my children. I wouldn't know freedom or forgiveness. I wouldn't be able to forgive. I'd be so angry. I don't know if I'd be alive.
Yeah.
And none of that was in my own strength. It was all in Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Jesus, abortion is not the unforgivable sin, like I think a lot of people think.
Mm-hmm.
There is freedom and forgiveness waiting, and it is available when we surrender our lives to Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And there's people that want to come around. I just think of your friend Diana.
Right?
Like Jesus was in her and worked through her to love you and to meet you right where you were at, not with condemnation, but with forgiveness and love.
Yeah.
So that you were able to process and talk through it and remember. Like you had to go back and remember what that was like. And she was right there in it with you.
Yeah. Going back so that I could go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Such an incredible example.
Yeah.
Of Jesus with skin on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being vulnerable with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening and watching. We don't always go this intense, but we did feel that this was worthy of being videotaped. So thank you for watching, and feel free to share this. The Life Renovation Podcast is sponsored by an organization called Life Services. We're in Spokane, Washington, and we come around people who have experienced abortion, who are facing unplanned pregnancy, who are facing really hard life circumstances.
Yeah.
And we bring wraparound services, everything from medical to healing groups for those who've experienced abortion, both men and women. And so if this story has touched you at all, we just want to encourage you, take a step forward.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to sit in the fear or the shame or the bondage, however this has trapped you.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. You can take a step forward. And if you need to, reach out to us at lifeservices.org, and we can help you find resources in your area.
Mm-hmm. And as we close, we just want you to remember and never forget that you are so valuable and you are loved and your life matters. See you later.
Bye.